My family and I traveled to Maryland to visit Antietam National Battlefield, the site of one of the most important battles of the American Civil War. This was a battlefield that I wanted to visit for a long time. We booked a 4-hour private tour through Antietam Battlefield Guides, which gave us the opportunity to explore the battlefield with an expert guide. Since this was my first time at Antietam, I really wanted a chance to dive into the history and better understand how the battle unfolded. The Battle of Antietam was fought here on September 17, 1862, during Confederate General Robert E. Lee's first major invasion of the North, just outside the town of Sharpsburg, Maryland. Lee brought his army of Northern Virginia across the Potomac River into Maryland, hoping that a major victory on Northern soil could weaken support for the war in the North and even potentially encourage European powers, such as Great Britain and France, to recognize the Confederacy. Instead, Lee's army met Union forces under General George McClellan near the town of Sharpsburg, and on September 17th, the two armies fought for approximately 12 hours across the fields surrounding the town. What followed was the bloodiest single day in American history, with approximately 23,000 Union and Confederate soldiers killed, wounded, or missing by the end of the fighting. Although the battle was not a decisive tactical victory for either side, Lee eventually abandoned his invasion of the North and retreated across the Potomac River back into Virginia, giving the Union an important strategic victory. The outcome also gave President Abraham Lincoln the military success he had been waiting for, because just 5 days after the battle, he issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation. This helped transform the Civil War from a struggle primarily to preserve the Union into a war that would also strike directly at slavery and ultimately determine its future in the United States. Our guide for the day was John Michael Priest, a retired history teacher and author of numerous books about the Civil War. His incredible knowledge of Antietam really helped bring the battlefield and the experience of the soldiers who fought here to life. Over the course of the 4 hours, we traveled across the battlefield as John explained the terrain, troop movements, weapons, monuments, and the experiences of the soldiers. Being able to actually see the landscape while learning about the battle and as it unfolded here really did give me an entirely different perspective on Antietam. Our tour began on the northern end of the battlefield, where some of the earliest and bloodiest fighting of the battle took place. And from here, we began working our way south across the battlefield, following the progression of the fighting. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you do stay tuned for part 2, where we'll visit some specific sites on the battlefield.